just a moment.
There's the Didn't Beat.
This is the best.
You're the star.
Truman?
Welcome back to Cocktails Cinema, folks, your weekly movie review podcast. As always, I'm your first favorite bartender, third favorite author, and still black and white on top, Josh Price, and I am joined by Greg and Shasti, my co-host, and our wonderful
You got that
producer.
salt and pepper going.
Black and white and red all over.
Yeah, I'm going full silver daddy these days.
Did you just age? 20
I
years?
did.
What happened?
I did. Well, I felt I needed to be able to bring some maturity to this particular review of a masterclass in how to make something that's not being John Malkovich, The Truman Show.
Mm-hmm.
This movie came out in 1998. It was directed by Peter Weir, an Australian director. Budget was $60 million, and the box office was $264,100,000.
Banger.
So, yeah, a decent hit for the time.
Yeah.
And given its abstract nature, I am very impressed.
Right. And I'll go on to add, just to preface everything, this movie won over 25 awards. You know, it's from
kidding.
Golden Globes, MTV, Actors Guild.
25.
Over Actors Guild, everything. You know, it's a piece. You're right.
Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award.
I don't think that was on that list, but I'm sure I did.
You
You know, I think Jim Carrey was trying to get away from the gag on this one.
Yeah, right.
You know, he went more dramatic on this effect.
No Razzies here. Yeah. So I know I made that joke about being John Malkovich, but that is the thing that stuck in my mind watching this movie back again.
Was it because of the camera switches?
Well, there's the camera, and there's just the voice of this film. It's like two sides of the same coin, where being John Malkovich made me feel bad in a very dirty way.
Yeah, icky.
Yeah, this movie makes me feel bad in a much more clean and clear way. Mm-hmm. So you are very much on this emotional journey with Truman,
right?
And they effectively made us watch The Truman Show. Like that button that they show at the beginning where it's how's it going to end. Like you are actually very invested.
Yeah, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing ever.
Yeah.
How you can take something. How can you direct? And how can you produce? How can you edit? Give credit to the cinematographer. Essentially, they're all running two different films. You know what I mean? It's a really cool way to. You know, one thing that I take away from this one, it's one of the last films that we've seen in our era of a pretty unique idea.
Very, yeah.
There's not really too many original thoughts out there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We can all. That's why there's a million Marvels, and you know what I mean. But it's just this movie sticks out because of that reason, because it was original, and Jim Carrey, you know, Ace Ventura, Pet Dick, you know, going from that role to this. You know, I mean, he wanted to shine a little bit. It shows through. And he did a great job.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of similar to how Robin Williams started doing, you know, very very serious and a couple of horror movies.
Yeah, we want to talk about photo
to
booth.
where it showcases the ability of comedic actors to have that wide range of emotion.
And that's always been said.
It's always been said, but I think Jim Carrey was. You remember movie 23?
Yeah, number 23. Yeah,
that was like not my favorite Carrey movie or horror movie by any stretch, right? But it was. I saw that theory into play the first time, or because comedians are so good at impersonation,
exactly,
and,
they carry the whole
spectrum
spectrum
taking on
of
a character,
like
it's
absolutely
like. It's usually just funny in context, you know what I mean? But where they can really hone in on anything. And Jim Carrey's great at that.
Yeah.
He is. And think about his three most prominent serious roles. It's The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and The Number 23.
Yeah.
All very different genres.
Very different.
And wonderful performances in all of them.
100%.
And he knocks it out of the park here.
Yeah. And he's still given that the leeway to be himself. When he's being funny, it's sad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because he shouldn't be happy. He shouldn't be. He flips the script completely. You know what? It went from like him not knowing the situation or state he was in, into now knowing, but now the comedy turns into sarcasm, and it's a really cool. The plot growth is awesome in this movie.
Absolutely. And I think this is actually a good parallel with a movie that we recently reviewed, Dr. Strangelove, where the comedy is kind of it's very different, but it stands up. It holds the same formation, where
There's a lot of serious.
I think it's a photo negative where the dialogue
There you
here
go.
is not comedic, but everything else is.
all the action and even the character interaction is, because it was very forward in the previous you talked about, but this one it's they're all connected. Like his friend Marlon, they've known each other since they were
Biff.
6, whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They've known each other for whatever X amount of years. They literally grew up together. This guy's been holding the secret on for that long.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be kidding me. That makes me want to reach through the TV screen and punch him in the face. Like, it's.
Yeah.
But that's what this movie does to you.
But
you
he's
know,
been getting paid for 30 years.
Right,
True,
exactly.
True. Well,
and the wife,
not quite 30 years.
Right.
I did the math. I did the math.
So
I have to go to-
10,909 days. Right?
That is, Truman is just shy of his 30th birthday. He is 48 days shy.
Hasn't even gotten off the damn island.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Never, yeah. Because of a water scare.
Yeah, and that really,
When they turned his dad into the only drunk in town.
Yeah, right. That's just good. That's just good TV.
It's good casting right there.
I didn't do that
You
math.
got experience on
until-
the set? Yeah. Sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good. I didn't do that math until today, and it kind of put the experience in a new light for me, and it kind of shook up my taco rating for later, honestly, because when I think about Jim Carrey, I think about fully formed adults like Ace Ventura,
Right.
or his character from Yes Man. Like, these guys are firmly established in who they are.
Bruce
And
Almighty.
Bruce Almighty, yeah, and Truman's not even out of his 20s yet.
Yeah.
Right,
This
right.
guy's still got 48 days to be an idiot.
Yeah.
Before
Even
the world
Stanley
expects
Ipkiss. I'm pretty sure he was probably like 25 at the time. He played an older role than
Yeah.
30.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
For sure.
In The Mask for whatever.
No, yeah.
We're all-
I mean,
Oh, yeah. I forget.
that's what
Hey,
Stanley
guys.
Ipkiss.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Josh is a little loopy today.
We're on our second episode of Cocktail Cinema. Give us a break.
No, I think there's a lot of weird things about the way the people act in that town. Like, it's very Leave It to Beaver, 1950s sitcom.
that was the intention.
Yeah.
As far as like that, his growth on the Truman Show. That's why I was talking about earlier how it's the differences between having to shoot this in a modern era and also make it a show that is that family friendly kind of thing. I mean, he was born on air out of a choice of 6 unwanted babies.
Yeah.
He was the one. So they shot it like that, especially that like, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yeah.
You know, like that zoom in, that staple of, you know, that Leave It to Beaver area.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That zoom in right at the, and then, but then they use it at the end and that closeout sequence.
Well, they call it 3 times.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
when you use
yeah.
the zoom in, by the way.
Yeah.
Instead of the push.
Yeah. There you go.
Little
we have our own camera talk going on.
Well, I mean, we're self-taught filmmakers, so
Yeah. And analysts.
we're still growing, getting there, but we're growing.
So it's Quentin Tarantino, goddamn.
That's true. He's definitely a
If we're not evolving, we're dying.
influence.
There you go.
I think I'm stepping out of the show a little bit, and I need someone to bust in my front door and give me a drink.
Oh, you need,
I need Biff.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Moco drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about?
That was not playing that.
That sounds wonderful, actually.
Slap in the face of that shit. What do we got?
That sounds wonderful. This is the Moco Cocoa Mixer.
Our
Moco
goddamn.
Cocoa.
All right, so
Mixer.
there's a lot of
Hot
ingredients
damn.
in this. I had to write them down. So we put an ounce of regular brandy. We were using Kristen Brothers today.
Okay.
A quarter ounce of cherry brandy. Half an ounce of rum cream. Y'all know how I love my rum cream.
Crema.
Half an ounce of amaretto. A quarter ounce of that chocolate martini mixture that we used a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 to 5 dashes of our Aztec chocolate bitters.
That's my favorite.
Oh, man.
That is,
Now,
That's
because there's a
spicy
whiskey in
chocolate.
there, I would recommend not shaking it. But if you feel you must, you must. We
and
stirred
some
these.
cream too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be gentle with
Yeah.
it. This is looking perfect. Texture wise.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Greg's good.
I'll be fine. Oh, shining white like white diamonds. That Aztec bitters, dude. That spice,
Yeah,
love it.
just rolling across the tongue.
That's really nice, dude.
I'm very happy with that drink. That's
Heck yeah.
that's definitely going in the.
It's like spice and booze for a second. and then it just
Finishes
calms down
calm. Yep.
with the amaretto and
The cherry kind of rolls in at the end,
the
very
cherry,
lightly.
and then a
Subtle.
little bit of chocolate, like cacao. It's more like
Cacao. So I mean, I guess I'll start back into the forward motion here.
Yeah.
So Peter Weir wasn't the original director for this movie. It was a guy named Brian De Palma.
Oh, okay.
And so that saved them, and then on the as far as money wise to produce this film, saved
gotta
them
imagine,
$20 to $60 million. You know what I mean? Like so,
That's significant.
right?
That's significant.
And the same way, there was a couple of different changes too. I think Ed Harris's character was originally supposed to be played by Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there was like some conflicting issues there. Dennis Hopper basically walked up the set.
That sounds like Dennis Hopper.
Right. And so input and here
Ed Harris is
Ed
perfect in that role,
Agreed.
though.
But it's funny. Ed Harris wanted to play a hunchback. They're like, nah, bro.
Yeah, even in '98, that was a problematic depiction.
And who the fuck is he to, you know what I mean, to say, hey, I want to play a hunchback in this movie?
I mean, there is a lot of artist input when it
Right.
comes to acting. So,
But this movie it banks on its realism. You know what I mean? It's
very much so.
To do that would completely misconstrue the entire process.
realism just based off of a set, a
Yeah.
fake
Of
show.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
It's just a great parallel, I think.
I agree, and especially when you consider the timeliness of this film. This is, before the really big reality TV boom, but we still had some. And obviously, the first reality TV show came out in the '70s, and there was a little bit of a lull after that. But we're leaning into
It was real world.
Before it is like
the
today,
paparazzi
even.
era.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even really. I tried to take things into like terms of like where the media was at, where comedy was at, like
Right.
you said with Strangelove. And
Where it sticks in,
I didn't really even think
into
about
history.
that.
And
It's
it was prophetic in a lot of ways, because when you look at the like his best friend and his wife,
Yes.
they're very much actors, and our reality TV shows are kind of scripted in that way.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they're dealing with
They're shots,
somewhat real
They're
life,
producer
but-
shows.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
some asshole like me, like, hey, that guy's wasted. Go start a fight with him. Hey, go try to break this up. Hey, go
Yeah,
try
like
to break it.
Jerry-
Like,
Jerry's
Absolutely.
I could have you guys just at a drunken bar all night.
And like you see that with
yeah.
with his best friend, like he's got an earpiece where some of his lines are scripted,
Yeah.
but then they're like, just run with it, and he's got to come up with, I'm really backed up today, Truman. I can't get away
and
from
it's
work.
fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
you think about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And even how they're walking the street, they're combing the streets to find him when he like snuck out. You
Like,
know,
like a search
you know,
party
they're
for a
arm in
missing
arm.
person.
It's
Yeah,
like
with the flashlights.
literally,
on.
it's
Yeah.
been like maybe an hour.
Yeah,
And like his whole universe is looking for him.
Well, is the like frame after that, or the sequence after that, is like the moon turns into a spotlight.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
started
Right,
shifting.
Hands.
Because you see
like
them
the
all
Eye of Sauron.
arm in arm with their flashlights as
Yeah.
they're walking, and then it's the moon.
And that's the craziest part where this movie takes that twist, that really dark twist. I mean, it was dark before, but now the lunar office is now scoping,
Yeah.
combing for you.
Yeah.
That's where there's certain points in this movie where it's like a quarter twist, half twist, quarter, and then it's like full circle.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
takes a full spin back
Yeah,
and starts
yeah.
working. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, and in the final sequence,
His wife leaves him. You know, it's so
yeah,
crazy.
in that final sequence where he's crashed his boat into the edge of the world,
Yeah.
the edge of his world.
That's everything.
And he's about to step out into something unknown. They purposefully don't light what's beyond the door, and he's essentially hearing the voice of God.
Yeah.
Even down to the dialogue where Ed Harris says, "I am the creator."
He's looking at his
Not
iPad.
only creator of the show, the creator of basically it's
He
his dad.
takes a very intentional pause.
Yes.
I am the creator of a television show that brings joy and life to millions, and it's just that chef's kiss of a
Yes.
final shot.
And to add to that as well, I loved how it was kind of that what do they call it? Never-ending waterfall, never-ending pool.
Eternity pool.
Yeah. So it's like he's able to walk around the outside of the ocean. The vastness of an ocean, you crash into the walls, the sky, and now you're able
Yeah.
to walk on water.
Yeah.
It was basically, and then like
It's a Jesus moment. It's
and,
very
and
C.S.
before
Lewis.
that
Well, he
too,
tries
and
to
before
punch
that
through
too,
the wall first.
well, for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, he was pissed.
kidding.
You gotta, but before that too was like it was kind of anointment of baptism, if you will, you know, because Ed Harris is pissed.
Yeah, very much
You know,
so.
so he's being reborn into that kind of stuff. This movie's deep, and I really, really like this movie.
I appreciate the symbolism in this a lot. And a lot of it hinges on the performances of those two people, Ed Harris and Jim Carrey, where they're playing it so earnestly. You know, Ed Harris, he clearly has affection for Truman, but more affection for his own creation.
Right. And you can, in that certain sequences where he's like touching his face or something
On
on
the screen. Yeah.
It's like he's
Stroking his face.
Again.
Is he happy with his creation, or is he happy with the person? I mean,
Both,
it's like
I think.
He's that moment of anger.
I think he's impressed.
He's
The
stroking.
morning. Right.
He's happy with himself, though. Let's put it that way.
For sure, but I think that moment of mourning, like the 7 steps or whatever it is, you know, he feels all that, and you can see it in that, and that's to add the realism into a fake show movie is really, really cool.
All right, so when he steps into that perfectly shot black frame, and I'm the creator of a TV show that brings billions of blah blah. Are you punching Ed Harris in the face or not? We're gonna get real for a second before we fucking.
You're gonna turn into what's his name? I will find you. I'm literally going to kill you.
I'm definitely at
You
the
took away
very
30
least
years of my life.
having a moment like Riddick had when they asked him about what he believed about God.
Like you said he's 29.
Yeah.
Ed Harris is, 60
Middle-aged.
pounds left and a little bit older than middle. I'll at least put him in a headlock.
Yeah.
If I'm Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
In that situation.
No, I mean,
Just
that guy
knock him over.
He should be in jail for a lot of years.
Well, put him in a rowboat and see how he swims.
Right. Add the wind.
Yeah.
Add the
Well,
wind.
and again, coming back to the rowboat, I think in that moment, Ed Harris is also impressed. He's like, it's another biblical parallel. I tried to drown my whole world.
Yeah.
And he's groomed him to be
And
weak.
this one man survived.
Yep.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna give you your rainbow moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, you can't leave. But obviously, there's an open door right behind you.
And that face that he makes when he says his sign off, basically, the face that Ed Harris gives, where his whole face shifts from like I got you, man.
Yeah.
And
It just drops.
it's like, oh, I just lost everything that I've done for the last 30 years because I'm a shitty human being.
To be fair, though, you can retire on that money, Ed Harris.
Oh,
Just
for
go away at
sure,
that
for
point.
sure.
Like, they're going to come to you with another pitch tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it was even more. Don't they touch base on some point about like Truman potentially having a baby too? Like,
Yeah,
or
they talk-
not-
they-
not-
it
not
was-
in
it was
those words, but it's
scripted.
like having another.
Yeah.
Another.
They wanted to have
another,
onset
series.
A sequel
onset
series.
conception.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a spinoff.
Yeah.
That's where it's like.
Yeah.
You're talking about Malkovich just being like that much more voyeur and invasive in a sense.
Yes, that
that's
is
where
absolutely how
that's
it
where
was.
this one could have taken that step to
Yeah.
be
Right.
Malkovich.
Absolutely. And
Got a little too real for me there.
it's funny that that is never really addressed. It's just talked about. It's like, well, he's scripted to have to get
On-screen
his wife
conception.
pregnant. Yeah.
And then they bring in the new secretary or the new person they're eyeing him up.
he needs a new
We're
love
talking about I
interest.
Love Lucy.
Yeah.
like,
Right.
not even having a pregnant lady, let alone
Yeah.
to a married couple with
Yeah.
one bed.
Well, then there's the very realistic moment where they cut to an audience member. He's like, they don't show anything. They just show the curtains move a little bit. Like, that's absolutely what would happen in America.
To the
Like,
point
they
right
didn't show
now, if
anything.
somebody wants to build a world around me and let me live in some some vague
I'll
premise,
step into the Matrix.
I'm there.
Give you a blue
exactly.
pill. Toss you a blue pill. real
hey,
quick.
we
And
got a
you can even hit
show
me with a blue chew.
coming out. Topic Thunder. We talk about this. We're not going to spoil it. Check it out.
There
Anyway,
you
moving
go.
back.
Ding ding.
I don't know. My instinct is that I would want the real world, but at the same time, I'm an introvert. Like, I probably wouldn't leave the house.
I mean, it's like
Even
a,
in the real
it's
world,
It's
I
a
don't
better
leave the
it's a
house.
better jail. It's like 3 hots and
Yeah.
a cot plus like interaction. Hell yeah.
Like, I get to as long as I go to work and make my life semi-dramatic, I get this fake money and I can buy whatever I
You're
want.
gonna leave and go do a cannonball and in the nearest pool, and there's like, oh, there's not a fucking tsunami that's just programmed to trigger as soon as I jump into it. This is great. Like
Yes.
like I think that's like the more or less fucked up part for me is like all those problems were created.
Yeah. All joking aside,
Yeah.
this is a very serious
throw
movie.
his dad that they killed as the town drunk.
Yeah.
like
and he comes back in 30 years later.
that's
like,
just a troll.
fog. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the same guy. He's gonna notice you, but it's like the town drunk
Yep.
is gonna make him more crazy.
Well,
you
and
go
then they
down.
kind of show the cracks during that interview with Ed Harris with basically the Nightline guy. And he's like, yeah, we had a few close calls, and they've got the guy coming in on the parachute.
Yeah, guy coming out of the
Hop-
Christmas
yeah, hopping
present.
out-
It's like streakers at a football
Exactly.
match.
Exactly.
There's two scenes that I want to talk about that kind of add into this thought pool.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of at the beginning, he's in a rotating door. The camera shifts and stays, and it makes you dizzy. He goes around several times, kind of symbolizing, he's running that rat race. He's in that hamster wheel.
He's on a hamster
And he's
wheel.
scared to get in there and
and
get out.
Exactly, and it shows him. It shows that. And there's the second sequence when he does that is when he's pretty much locks his wife in the car.
He's driving,
and
yeah.
they're going around
Yeah.
the little quick thing, and then he goes back and does the opposite way, and then look, there's no cars.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of symbolism. There's I
Visual
really
literacy.
yeah, and I
A
really
huge pickup,
I really
yeah.
respect the director for using that. And like I said, I can't say enough about the cinematographer. Let me see, I got it written down here. Peter Bizu, because he's directing 2 movies.
Yeah, he really
You know
is.
what I mean? And it's very hard to do, and to create something so real and so full.
Well, and we talk about the rule of threes a lot on this show, and the basic thing is the first of the third sets up the premise. The second gives a little bit of a story advancement, and then the third is the twist.
Yeah.
So the first time he goes in, he just kind of, it's one time, and then he goes into I think it's his job. The second time is when he goes around and around and around. The third time is the car. That's the twist, and that's the expansion of the idea. And yeah, I didn't catch that the first time.
Yeah.
That's good on you, homie.
Hey man, I watch these movies, bud.
You're a professional,
Oh,
man.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. No, but seriously, I think those are. I wouldn't have caught it necessarily, but the camera switched on when I noticed it on the rotating door when he's going in. He's letting everybody go in front of him, and then he gets into it, and it seems like he's going there forever. And the camera, it's the focus that switches behind him. It's soft and then hard, and you can see that it's.
But it goes
monotonous.
and the focus goes to like just him as the subject in the center,
Yeah.
but to like the crowd of people trying to get
exactly,
behind
exactly.
him.
Yeah,
And,
then
it continues.
yeah,
that,
and then the
yeah.
second way that we were talking about in the car, now it's being twisted. He's got his wife. They're married. He already knows that she hates him,
Yeah.
and
knows
now
something's up.
basically
You think she's lying to him?
yeah.
For sure.
So now it's like I am the revolving door. I'm gonna make you break, and he did that the entire sequence, and it
Yeah.
really cool. I really appreciate this movie. I think it's one of the modern era '98.
It's like he's scared.
One of the best movies that's
Yeah.
been created.
No,
in
that definitely gives it a lot more. That's good soup right there.
That's like the
That's good
like,
soup.
That's like his circumference that he's caught in too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's either scared by it
His
or
universe.
he's
Yeah.
challenged it. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's literally spherical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
For sure.
You can see it from space.
And
The
that
biggest
goes
set.
into the
Yeah.
world, Earth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
his
Same
worth,
thing.
his
Yeah.
Earth. Yeah. Dang, we're good.
He's either got to spin it or he's flipped
Yeah.
upside down by it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of being able to be seen from space, because I guarantee something like this is gonna happen. We've had this. We had the dome. We've had under the dome.
Dome within a dome.
We've
I
had
got
Cube.
Dome in the Dome once.
So like all these shape-based movies.
Yes.
If we were to build a Truman Show sized set, where in the world would we put it?
Greg's basement. Right here. Look at this fucking sign we got in here. No, that's Hollywood isn't the place. That's what I'm saying.
It is a dome, but
Burbank or whatever they say. it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Probably Siberia.
Well, I mean, you can control the climate, so I guess it doesn't matter
I mean,
where.
if the
Right.
goal is to see it from space, it's got to be like the highest elevation. Start
That's
there
true.
and
That's
see
true.
where
Yeah.
you're. I don't know. I'm just
Well, I mean, yeah. So like, Western United States probably wouldn't be bad. I doubt we could get away with putting it in China, even though we got a tax break.
yeah. I mean,
Dome within a dome.
It's
Russia
yeah.
spreads over 2 continents. There's got to be room somewhere.
It's so vast.
I mean, yeah, we've done 2 separate shows about how long it takes a plane
Who
to get
in is
across.
Ed Harris? Yo, we're gonna do the thumbnail for this. I'm gonna put Ed Harris in between the two guys. And put Pooh's face on it.
With his backwards skull.
See if anyone recognizes
Kangol.
it. See the end of the episode. They're gonna know by now.
Heck yeah. All right.
We're joking a lot, but this
Speaking of
movie is definitely drama filled.
It is. It is. And I know this is one of your like go-to This Is Film movies.
Yeah.
So before I move us into our final segment, I want to give you the floor and just tell me what you love the most about The Truman Show.
I mean, I think I've already touched on most of it. I think it brings the element of realism. Not only that, but it pulls at your heartstrings. I mean, there's every sequence, every scene, the guy's trying to do right. And let's, just for 1 second, put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah.
He's got a wife. He's got a job. He's lived in this area. He's got a best friend. Finding out that all of that is fucking fake. And, you know, having his moments, you know, and then, you know, like we talked about the scene with the sailboat and stuff. These are paintings. These are, you know what I mean? These are visual literacy that we've touched on before. These are literal paintings that have happened. A guy in a boat in a water storm.
Yeah.
You're alone. You're
Gosh darn tsunami.
Gosh darn, but you're alone. You're hurting. You have no one. He has no one to talk to.
Yeah.
No one to be with. I mean, he
everyone knows him, but he's alone.
And he finds resolution in himself. But in that black door, that final sequence, he takes the steps up.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
He walks through a black door.
Yeah.
Unknown, and says basically, "F you to the creator. I'm doing me."
Well, I think it's very important that we don't see what's on the other side of that door, because the audience has seen everything in his life coming. It's all been lit,
and also
it's all been.
And also the woman that's coming to, she's already got her coat on and coming to see, because you know they touched base. The only real part about his entire life was her.
Exactly.
The big F you before walking through the door. It is the biggest F you because it's like the catchphrase.
Yep.
If I don't
he
see
was
ya.
he was brainwashed to say, and that's. As I'm walking out, like it's almost sarcastic at that point.
That's why it changes.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
But it changes the voice tone of the entire movie. You know, there's the way this movie plays.
There's a lot of heart to it.
Second to none. I mean, like I said, I think this is one of that era, which is there's not a lot of good shit coming from that era. I mean, we got a lot of redone stuff, but that's where I find.
It won 25 awards. I can't imagine like any other movies came out of that.
But I mean, it was like it's just something. It pulls at you, man. It's like whether you want to watch it for a certain reason because of its funniness, its hilarity, or the way he's acting, or you want to feel like this movie moves so well and it's so close to home, and the way it's shot, high crane action and then back down to bottom. It's really really intense to watch, and that's why I think this movie holds such weight for me.
That said, I got one last question for you, Greco.
Oh, jeez.
My stomach's a rumbling. I'm getting hungry.
Pepperoni.
It's time for taco scores.
It's like sometimes we order pizza. I was like, what?
You forget about that? Delivery man here?
Out of 100 tacos, 0 being the worst, 100 being the best, what do you give The Truman Show?
Well, I already gave my points. This movie gets an 88 for me.
All right, stellar. Shasti?
I'm gonna give it an 89.
I was
no
gonna go
kidding.
89 for sure.
All right.
I'm gonna give it an 89. I think for as much as Greg loves it, he gave it a low score there.
It doesn't sit on my top 90s is premier echelon. It doesn't quite sit there for me.
This is Shasti's top score. I'm joking. You go.
Well, then don't bring my name into this.
I think that much like we were talking about Strangelove, right? Like as time goes on, it gets more and more dated for more than one reason.
Yeah.
Here, I think that reason is that people are gravitating more and more towards reality TV shows to the point where not only can they not. Some people I literally talk to don't understand what I mean by reality TV is the fake is.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's real. Right. There's cameras there. And it's like, no, it's like a producer show, much like this, right? Much like
I think
this.
98, like
No,
real world road
people-
rules.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
MTV, you know.
Jersey Six.
And now we've got the Hype House.
Even if it's Survivor or something, where it's a competitive thing, it's like you have to
cut,
realize, right? But this, like you said before, Josh, Truman Show came out before this was like meta for entertainment.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where it's amplified to me. It's more reality because instead of actors getting paid to be actors, like dude was just duped out of childhood.
And to be honest with you, just actors being paid to be actors. So usually Jim Carrey works for $20 million. This one he did for 12. Just saying. No, you're right. Yeah,
He cared about the project very clearly.
An actual reality
and
show.
I'm going to jump in there
Sure.
because Jim Carrey is the reason my score is so high. And specifically, it's that last sequence. Because leading up to it, I'm gonna get my score at the end. Leading up to it, I was sitting on a solid like 78, 79. And then you've got that whole long, like 5-minute scene at the end with the boat and the voice of God and the open door. That scene bumps my score up to an 88. Give this 88 tacos.
Dang, we have never been so close.
10 points just for that scene.
And after talking to me.
And survey says
We're pretty
all right,
spot on there.
Critics give this a 95.
Yeah.
The audiences give it an 89. So Shasti, you are in the majority.
I'm an audience.
We're below an audience.
Yeah. So again, we got to throw it back to y'all, audience, listeners, watchers, enemies. Hopefully not. We'll be friends soon.
People
what do
of
you,
all ages.
What score do you give the Truman Show and why? Let us know down in the comments. And, you know, I haven't said it in a while. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You know, we put out stuff every week. You know the drill. This is the internet. We live in
subs.
this. We live in this 16:9 frame all the time. So hop on down to the
room is
YouTube.
16:9.
Hop on over to the Patreon. Subscribe for as little as $1 a month, and you can get all the perks. One of the perks for me though is, like I said, I'm getting hungry. So Grego, Shasti, I gotta say goodbye.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.